Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? Whoo! Man, that was a dogfight. Down to the wire, back and forth all game. We got a lot to dive into this game. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Leave a like on the video. We are almost at 1,000 subs. So if y'all can help your boy out, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you to whoever has supported me up until this point. We still got a little bit more till we hit that 1,000 mark, and then it's all up from there. So I appreciate y'all. Let's get right into it. So real quick, I know a lot of y'all are probably wondering my thoughts on the recent news about the wrestlers Nick and Tony. I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on that probably tomorrow. I'm gonna probably do a pregame stream for the Raptors game tomorrow. I'm gonna try and cover all of that, or I'm gonna do a separate video. I just don't want to dive into that. This game is just too much to dive into, but y'all will know my thoughts probably tomorrow during pregame on the news that has broke about the front office and Travis Schlenk and all that other stuff. So I wanted to get that out the way before I dive into this. This game really was a game of runs. It seemed like every time either team jumped out, got on a run, the other team would answer. Pacers go on a run, Hawks answer. Hawks go on a run, Pacers answer. And neither team could really create full-on separation to really put themselves in the driver's seat to win this game. Atlanta came out hot offensively, got out to an early lead. Trey got off to a great start. Double O had probably his best quarter of basketball that I've ever seen Double O play. And shout out to Double O. I've been critical of him in the past with his rebounding and everything like that. Y'all know how I felt about him in the past, but he balled his ass off tonight. Finished with like 18 points and 20 boards, a career high on the glass for Double O. Finished with 14 points and 8 boards just in the first quarter alone. Him and Trey were really connecting well tonight with the alleys, with the pick and roll. They really carried Atlanta offensively in the first quarter. Pacers answered. They came out, they went on a run. As soon as Atlanta jumped out to that early lead, they went on the run of their own. Benedict Mathurin was incredible tonight. He finished with like 27. He had a sneaky, quietly good game. He kept getting to the line. He kept getting to the paint. Pretty much all his points came from in the paint. And the Pacers just dominated the paint. Overall, Atlanta's paint defense has been so bad ever since Clint Capella has gone out, and that's been a big problem. And they got to look to address that. I mean, they signed Derek Favors to that 10-day contract, and he's yet to see the court. I'm interested to see if he's going to get any PT anytime soon. But Atlanta has to do a better job of playing better defense in the paint, because it is not fared well for them over the last couple weeks. Ever since Clint Capella's been out, that's been a major struggle. Pacers were getting out in a transition like they always do. They are the #1 fast break team in the NBA, and they showed it again why they are tonight. Just consistently getting out and running. That is what the Pacers do best. And they were missing Tyrese Halliburton tonight. This game should not have been as close as it was. It should not have came down to the final possession with the Pacers missing their best player. But shout out to the Pacers, man. They played a very well-rounded game. Dominated the paint, dominated in transition. They had 40 points in the paint in the first half. In one half of basketball, 40 points in the paint. That is just unacceptable for Atlanta's defense. You have to do a better job going forward. Second half starts out, Atlanta really starts to pick it up from three, starts to get hot. Dre really got going. He had an incredible game tonight offensively after a super slow start in the first half. Finished with 25 on the night. I think he hit 6 threes. DeJounte got going a little bit in the second half as well. He had an okay game overall, but some of the questionable decision making once again down the stretch of the ball game. It was really all Dre and DeJounte the entire third quarter for Atlanta. And then the Pacers go on a huge run once again to close out the third quarter. And I thought maybe the Pacers, this is the time that they take control of this game. They immediately answer they immediately go on another run to start the fourth quarter, but then Atlanta answers with a run of their own. It really was a game of runs, man. It was back and forth the entire game. It was exciting to watch, but it was also frustrating to watch because I'm thinking, come on, man. We cannot lose to another team that is missing their best player. Atlanta seems to consistently struggle against teams that are missing their top guys, and I just don't understand it. But shout out to the Pacers role guys, man. They had a lot of guys step up tonight, and no, they did not win the game, but this Pacers team really is a young, exciting team to watch. I mean, they were missing Miles Turner. They were missing Tyrese Halliburton, their best player, and they still battled, man, because they play with so much energy. They get into transition. They control the glass a lot of time. They didn't really control the glass tonight, but they did have a lot of second chance opportunities. And shout out to Isaiah Jackson. He had an incredible game overall. He missed a lot of shots at the rim, but he had a monster game on the defensive end. He had like 5 or 6 blocks or whatever, and it seemed like he was getting a block damn near every possession. Isaiah Jackson played an incredible game tonight. Now, there's one little quick stat that I wanna point out really quick. This goes to Nate McMillan's rotation, and I don't understand it. I really just don't understand his thought process when he's rotating these guys. Bogey played 27 minutes. Finished with 4 points and shot 2 for 9 from the field. AJ Griffin and Jalen Johnson both played 14 minutes. AJ Griffin had 8 points, I think 4 for 8 from the field. Jalen Johnson 3 for 3 from the field and 7 points. Both of these guys played half the minutes that Bogey played and had double the points. Damn near double the points than Bogey had. That's bad coaching. You have a guy out there that is clearly struggling shooting the basketball, and we've seen this from Bogey before. When Bogey is struggling shooting the ball, he's essentially non-existent because he doesn't play defense. He's not a great playmaker. He's not a guy to really get to the rim consistently. He's a shooter. So when he's having an off night shooting, it's just not his night. You have to look to other guys. You have to look at a guy like AJ Griffin. You have to look at a guy like Jalen Johnson, those guys can both get into transition. They can get to the rim. Jalen Johnson has played really well as of recent with getting into transition, getting to the rim, and finishing at the rim. His confidence looks like it's getting there. And we already know what AJ Griffin can do, but his minutes have been significantly cut, which is so weird to me. I just don't get that. I really don't get where your coaching lies with that when you're playing a guy like Bogey almost double the minutes that these other two guys are getting when the other two guys are producing more. I just don't understand that, man. That really confuses the hell out of me. This game came down to the wire, and there was a couple possessions down. Well, not really a couple, but Trey hit a big 3 down at the end of the game to put us up 2. Buddy Hield gets fouled down the other end, ties the game. When Trey was going down, pretty much was a tie game with like 21 seconds left. You're taking the final shot. That was one of the worst shot selections of it. One of the worst shots I've ever seen that a player can take for a game winner or game, a shot to really take the lead and pretty much essentially win the game. He took a 30-foot 3, 32-foot 3. Just deep as hell, contested to try and win the ball game. DeJounte gets an offensive rebound. He puts it up and misses. And then JC, who has essentially done nothing the entire game, gets a beautiful tip in. And shout out to JC because that one shot won the game. But that's just poor execution in my opinion. You could have worked it around for a better shot, fed a hot hand. Now, I know Trey's obviously going to get the shot when the game is on the line for the most part because he was shooting the ball well from 3 tonight. He did hit 6 threes. But at the end of the day, man, that's a bad shot. That's an extremely bad shot. When you're taking the 35-foot 3 ball when the game is tied to win the game, you have so much more offense on the floor with DeAndre Hunter having the game that he had, with the pick and roll essentially working most of the game with Double O or John Collins. Even though John Collins didn't have a great game offensively, he got that game winning tip in. I just don't like that shot selection. Work it around for a better shot, maybe get to the rim, see if you can draw contact and win the game at the free throw line. We got lucky to get out of this one with the win, man. I'll be honest with you. We got lucky because we have really struggled recently and we're struggling to close out games. Thank God we actually got out with a win tonight, but it could have gone the opposite way. A tough game. It was a battle to the end, and I'm very happy that we got out with the win, but the execution towards the end of the game is still poor, and it's still not improving, and I just don't know how well this team is going to do going forward throughout the rest of the season unless something changes. And I've alluded to that multiple times in multiple videos. Even though we won tonight, there's still changes that need to be made. So I'm going to get into my final takeaways for this game. And number 1 was Double O's performance. Probably his best, really the best game of his career that we have seen out of Double O. And again, I have been critical of him in the past with his rebounding, but he finished with 20 boards on the night, 18 points. Now 14 of that came in the first quarter, so he was quiet offensively the rest of the game, but he really was doing the dirty work. He had 4 blocks, and he really was the only guy tonight that was crashing the glass. When you have one guy get 20 boards, somebody else has to help him out on the glass, because the Pacers had almost almost 20 offensive rebounds tonight, and that's not going to get it done. Even though there was a very, very close rebounding battle, you still can't let a team get almost 20 offensive rebounds in a single game. So number 2 is the paint defense. The Pacers absolutely dominated, and I alluded to that earlier, dominated in the paint. I think they had, like 60-something points in the paint tonight. Again, it's just been, it seems like the consistency of this team the entire season is the paint defense is atrocious. Ever since Capella went down, this team cannot defend the paint. It seems like guys get to the rack at will. Other than DeAndre Hunter, there's no guy that we have on the perimeter that can guard ball. DeJounte is an okay ball defender, but he primarily plays defense by getting steals and jumping passing lanes. Outside DeAndre Hunter, we have no perimeter defenders. And that's really why a lot of times we struggle with the paint defense, because we consistently get beat on the perimeter, and then guys have to come over and help, and then it's a shovel pass or an alley for an open dunk. It's just been the consistency without Clint Capella, and it just shows you the value of a defensive center. And now, I don't love Clint Capella. I really don't. And I really do think that we need to make an upgrade. But even still, Clint Capella is still a solid defensive center and a solid rebounder, and we have really been missing him over the last couple, week or so with these games that we have been losing and almost lost again tonight because of the paint defense. So number 3 was the Pacers role guys. And again, shout out to the Pacers, man. This team, they're young, they're hungry, they're playing well. I mean, they have really, everybody really expected this team to be essentially another lottery team, to be really not even in the playoff hunt. But, and who knows what's going to happen with Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, down the road towards the trade deadline. But I'll tell you what, man, these role guys for the Pacers really stepped up. Jalen Smith had a solid game. I've already touched on Isaiah Jackson. I mean, Benedict Mathurin, him and Tyrese Halliburton are essentially the future of this franchise. I mean, O'Shea Brissett had a solid game overall, and just another game where the Pacers role guys just played well overall. I mean, they were crashing the glass. They were playing defense. They were knocking down shots. Now, Nembhard, who I really like as a player, as a young player, he really struggled tonight. I think he shot like 2 for 14 or something. He had a really bad offensive game, but he's shown his flash and his moments. I think he does have a solid, a promising career in the future, for at least a role player. I like his game. I think he's gonna grow and he's gonna get a lot better, but he really struggled tonight. But overall, the Pacers role guys really stepped up tonight, and were a huge reason why the Pacers were able to pretty much stay in the game the entire game. So my final takeaway for this game is the Pacers transition offense. Again, over 30 fast break points. They lead the league in fast break opportunities, fast break points per game. And they got out again in transition, and that's a big part of their offense, is getting out into transition and getting easy buckets, and we saw that again tonight. That's 2 things Atlanta is so poor at, is defending the fast break and defending the paint. And that's a huge reason, on top of the Pacers role guys, why the Pacers were able to hang around, go on runs, and essentially have an opportunity towards the end of the game to win the game. Even though we got all at the win, the Pacers were right there. And shout out to the Pacers, man. Again, I want to give praise to a team who was down their best player, who really almost won this game and was really right there in position to win this game. So I'm going to pretty much leave it there, man. That is pretty much all I got for this game. Again, I'm going to do a pregame stream tomorrow and give my thoughts about the whole, information, about the whole news that's been going on about the Hawks, the front office, the ownership, all that type of stuff. Again, I just don't have time to get into that tonight for this recap. I'm going to get into that tomorrow for pregame. So y'all tune into that. I'm going to be live streaming at 6:30. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about overall for this game. What do you think about tomorrow's game? Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.